If you ever feel lost in life and thinking that perhaps you don't have a purpose, banish the thought. Banish the thought. Sometimes the area in life that challenges us the most, it's perhaps an invitation for us to overcome that so that we can share and guide others. Welcome back to another episode of the Yardie Yogi Perspective, a space for healing, self-discovery, and growth. I'm your host, Yardie Yogi, and on this episode, we're talking about from pain to purpose. Sometimes when we have pain and discomfort in our bodies, it's a sign that we're living out of alignment with who we truly are. And while we were taught that yes, education is the key to success, it's not always the case. I encourage people to discover yourself, explore and experience, and you will find your way to the path that is right for you. The pain that we feel is an indicator of where we need to heal, where we need to pivot, to change course perhaps completely. How we can alchemize and transform into something greater. But that transformation is inside out. So as within, so without. I want to share my personal journey from pain to purpose. That is really the inspiration behind this episode. I grew up in Portland, Jamaica, rural community where there's not a lot of resources. So I know what hardship is. I know what poverty is. From traveling on a truck back to get into the town so we can buy our groceries, not having cars, having to walk to work like miles. We know that. Having to carry our groceries down the hill, down the mountain, like carry our food to the house. Everything is a journey. So I'm used to the idea of a journey. Yeah? And growing up, we were taught that education is the key to success. Get an education. And so I did. I fought very hard. I left my little primary school where everyone knew everyone, all the teachers and parents, everybody knew everyone. And I went to Titchfield High School that was maybe 2 hours away. With one bus, we had to sit in each other's laps to get to school, waking up at 4 a.m. to journey to high school from 13 years old to 17. We had to do that for 5 years. So when you left home at 4:30 a.m., you're not getting home until 7 p.m. And that was our life, Monday to Friday, just to get a high school education. I couldn't participate in extracurricular activities because no time. If my one bus left me, who's sleeping on the roadside? But no, I wouldn't sleep on the roadside. I had to walk home at night. So yes, I know struggle from the perspective of a rural third world country girl. Yes. And so I knew that I had to fight my way to change my circumstance. And so the only way I knew to do that was to get a higher education. And so I applied to the University of the West Indies. And I didn't get into psychology. That's what I really wanted to do. And so while on the campus, I remember coming across the international relations program, and it was so exciting. I saw the lecturer in their suit. They looked polished, and the idea of perhaps being a diplomat and the international perspective always spoke to me, because I think of myself as a humanitarian, so I always wanted to help people from an international perspective. I don't know a better way to say that. So I joined the international relations program, and while attending university, I didn't know how I would pay for it. I couldn't afford it. My mother couldn't afford it. And so I couldn't live on campus. Being from up in the hills, like, I had to travel with one person in the community that was driving into Kingston in the mornings, and that's how I would get to school. And I would stay on campus all day, meet all of my classes, and when I don't have classes, I'll be in the library or just liming around until in the night, in the evening, when this particular person, it was the pastor, I think, or whoever, had a vehicle that was making that commute from Kingston back into the country. And I had to do that to survive my university days. Sometimes I didn't have money for more than one meal a day. Sometimes I had to bring something in my bag just to have food. And so the journey was not easy. So I'd like to share a speech that I wrote, since now that I'm here living in the US, it will give you a better idea as to a snippet, about 7 minutes into my story. And the title is the title of this episode, From Pain to Purpose. If you want good, your nose have to run. This is a Jamaican proverb that emphasizes that if you desire anything worthwhile in life, you must be willing to endure hardships. It is a metaphor that compares discomfort with a runny nose. If you want good, your nose have to run. We're all human beings. That makes us feeling beings. It is a natural, yet sometimes painful part of the human experience. Friends, I'm going to be real and vulnerable with you tonight. Well, today. I am a wounded healer. I will be sharing my healing journey and how it has led me to discovering my mission, my why, my purpose. And I can talk about it. After all, who feels it knows it. Persistent pain and discomfort are usually signs that we're living out of alignment with our authentic selves. According to Sapolsky 2004, chronic stress stemming from suppressing one's needs or desires triggers the body's fight or flight response. Prolonged activation of the fight or flight response, that is, the sympathetic nervous system, can result in physical symptoms such as headache, muscle tension, and fatigue. In 2017, while I was finalizing my undergraduate degree at the University of the West Indies, Mona, I was faced with a challenge that forever shaped my path. You see, I was plagued with tension headaches that would last for weeks at a time. I went to the doctor, the university doctor, and was told, "You have emotional pain bottled up that's now starting to manifest as physical pain." It's important to note that the year prior to that, in 2016, I was here in the US as a work and travel exchange student, a J1 student. On my way to work one day, I was struck from my bike. And so I have knee pain and lower back pain healing from because of that. I never thought I would walk normal again. I thought I almost died. Interestingly, Western medicine has given me a good bill of health. Over the years, CT scans have confirmed there are no physical issues. You are young with a healthy body. My pain is intangible yet undeniable. A seed was planted then to explore a more intuitive and holistic approach to my own healing. Get an education, they said. So here I was in distress trying to get this degree. I cannot afford to fail. This is my only way out. I know something now that I did not know then. Education is not the key, my friends. Self-discovery is. How many of us were taught from an early age that education is the key to success? A 2021 study by the Federal Reserve Bank indicated that 40% of US college graduates are not working in jobs that require a degree. A 2022 study by the Georgetown University revealed that fewer than 40% of degrees are able to provide a strong return on investment within 10 years of graduation. Some of us may have figured it out by now, but we have been bamboozled. I've always been multi-passionate, just as much a creative as I am an intellect. Nevertheless, there was no space or time for creativity where I'm from. It was simply too risky, uncertain. And without adequate resources, I've had to figure out a lot of it on my own. And so I made the bold and scary move here during the pandemic. I had just finished my master's degree with no opportunities in sight. No surprises there. You know, Jamaica being a third world developing country, resources are scarce and nepotism, unfortunately, is everywhere. Nevertheless, I've been learning something very important along the journey. The answers to everything we need are already within us. But it is the journey itself that will eventually begin to reveal them. And that leads me to my third and final point. You see, when we truly learn to live in alignment with our mind, our bodies, and our spirits, that is when we will know a life of flow. And like this podcast says, we are finding our flow. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, the ultimate goal of human development is self-actualization. And so when we fail to meet this goal, pain and discomfort will be a part of our lives in some way. I get it. We do not live in a utopian world. And so you won't always get what you want, need, or even deserve. The problem arises when we spend an unbalanced amount of time living out of alignment with who we truly are. And so now, on my self-discovery journey, I'm embodying my purpose, my mission as a yogi, as a yoga teacher, as a coach, as a public speaker, to guide others on how they can embrace a livity, a life, a livity by design. So as we live and heal, it is very important for us to share our experiences within community. And so the lessons that I'm learning to embody on my own healing journey, persistent pain and discomfort are usually signs that we're living out of alignment with our authentic selves. And while education is important, it is not the key. The key is to discover self. So please prioritize that. Because when you truly learn to align your mind, your body, and your spirit, your life will flow a lot easier for it. Trust me. So yes, to some extent. If you want good, your nose off a run. I wholeheartedly agree. But allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to heal. That is the real deal. Yes, so that was my Toastmasters speech, because I'm currently a Toastmaster working on my public speaking skills, and Yeah, I've been saying that public speaking for me, as someone that's naturally more soft spoken and reserved and introverted, I received a lot of not so kind feedback on that aspect of my personality. And I'm no longer letting it define me for the most part. Because I'm going to own the parts of it because it is true to some extent. But the problem is when I let it overpower me and perhaps causes me to be ashamed and to not be as courageous and as bold as I would like to be. So I'm reframing that. Yeah, I'm rewriting my story. So I'm a public speaker. Let's claim it. So while I drink some herbal tea, I want to repeat some affirmations for you as it relates to pain and purpose. One deep breath in, exhale. My story has meaning, and my experiences inspire others. My journey is sacred, and I am walking in alignment with my divine purpose. I am a living example of the beauty that rises from adversity. What I feel and harbor inside me is what manifests in my external reality. And so I am mindful of that. Friends, to recap what we spoke about, there will always be some amount of pain and discomfort in your life if you not live as your true self. There will always be some amount of pain and discomfort if you are not living as your truest, most authentic self. And while education is a great foundation, it is very important in that way. I'm educated, I have my master's degree. But I will not encourage anybody right now to go and get a degree or to pursue education unless you know for a fact that that is your thing. If that is your thing, by all means, go for it. So, yes, education is important, but it is not the key. It will not give you or lead you to that ultimate fulfillment that aligns with who you are as a being, as a spiritual being having a human experience. Self exploration, discovery, experiences, living, trying new things. That is when you learn more about yourself, you find yourself. That will help you to live a more aligned life. So your life will flow a lot easier when you're yourself. You know who you are, you know what you like, you know what makes you happy, you know what makes you sad, and you're able to then curate and design a life that is fulfilling, that is filled with vitality and joy and purpose. And I wish that for all of us on this human journey. So if you enjoyed this podcast, if you got anything at all from it, please leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Share it with someone who you think will benefit from this message. And follow me on Instagram at theyardieyogi. Yogi. Thank you for joining me. You don't know the tingo. We're finding our flow. Until next time, stay rested, stay resilient.